This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, September 11th, 2006, and this is episode number 151 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from MGMstudios.org. Our panel of NFL rejects include the part-time stand-in for Johnny Weissmuller's audio animatronic, Mike Scopa of MousePlanet.com. Welcome, Mike.
Easy now. I was born modest. Fortunately, it wore off.
We also have Mike Newell of my favorite station of the day, Mouse World Radio X2 on. Welcome, Mike.
Go Jets.
Back for another show, it's Mary Waring of MouseSavers.com. Welcome back, Mary.
Thanks for having me.
And alongside her is Sue Pizzatoro of Small World Vacations. Welcome, Sue.
Hello, it's great to be back.
Today we've brought Mary and Sue on to talk about Disney weddings and vow renewals and honeymoons and all those other romantic stuff. Mary, just did you revamp the site, Mary, or did you totally add in new content to MouseSavers.com?
We've actually added over 300 pages of new content to Mouse Savers just in the past month, and it's all to do with weddings, honeymoons, vow renewals, romantic vacations, marriage proposals, and all that icky stuff.
Icky.
Icky sweet. Good stuff.
Well, I'm sure there's something here I could use. My girlfriend does not listen to this podcast, so I'll be taking notes.
Okay.
Let's start off. I don't know, Mary. Pick somewhere to start off. What's a good starting off point for us?
Well, I guess we can start with proposals, since that often is the precursor to the rest of the stuff.
All right. Well, that helped me out most anyway. All right. What
so
have we
got? When we first announced that we were going to launch this weddings and honeymoons section, I did a survey, and of the people who had signed up for this newsletter we're putting out on weddings and honeymoons to see what people were interested in. And what was kind of surprising is that a lot of people really wanted information, not so much specifically about weddings and honeymoons, but about proposals and just romantic trips in general. So we started compiling information about some of the more interesting places you can do proposals, and turned up a lot of stuff that I personally didn't know about at all. Like, for instance, I didn't know that Disney actually sells an engagement package. If you want to get engaged at Cinderella Castle in Cinderella's Royal Table, you can pay $250 for the privilege.
$250?
$250.
I forget. I'll just propose on the top of Splash Mountain.
What does that get you, Mary?
Well, that gets you your usual meal, so it includes 2 meals, which are normally priced at about $40 per adult at dinner. You get a crystal slipper lying on a bed of rose petals on a decorative platter with a dome lid. And the waiter comes out after dinner, and the ring is in the glass slipper, and it's all very fabulous.
Well, one of the things that I saw that was interesting regarding proposals was that you had a note in there that Disney can allow you to have a photographer or videographer follow you and
yes,
and do it. Although that'd be kind of weird if I do my top of Splash Mountain proposal idea, because it'll be like, don't worry about who that person is in the back row with the huge video equipment.
Hey, you could save yourself some money and just get the regular picture they take at the top of the splash.
There you go. $15 and I'm done.
That's right.
Exactly. Sue, do you get a lot of proposal itinerary requests?
We get a lot of engaged couples who are already engaged, lots of anniversaries, lots and lots of anniversaries, and sometimes it's a big anniversary, say 50 years, and they're bringing the whole family down, and they want to do grand gatherings, and they just my agents are very experienced in doing this, so they help people put it all together and plan some extra special magic.
Ooh, interesting. And of course, Mary also lists some interesting places to propose if you're not all about, getting the what is it, $200 package out there. And so the most interesting one that stuck out in my mind, Mary, that you have listed is on the Peter Pan ride as you fly over the lights of London.
As you fly over London, yeah, on the Peter Pan ride. That actually was not my idea. It was something somebody suggested to me. A reader sent me that suggestion, so I can't take credit.
Mike Scopa, have you, being that you've been around for, I don't know, about a couple hundred proposals probably over your lifespan,
Oh, boy.
when Napoleon asked for suggestions for, for proposing to, what was her name anyway?
Josephine?
Josephine, thank you. What did you offer her?
Oh, jeez. All I got to say is that I am so happy that Mary's got this section on, because I get at least a half a dozen to a dozen letters every year from some of my readers who are thinking about where they should propose to their girlfriends. And the most recently sent one was someone who wanted to propose to his girlfriend in front of the castle during wishes, just as the finale hit. And that was probably the only one that I've gotten where there was a true idea. Otherwise, they just asked me, well, where do you think I should go? And now I'm just going to send them to Mary's page. So I'm really happy that you've got that page up, Mary.
The other thing that she has in there, besides proposing, is you've got also, like you said, Mary, a lot of this is about just being romantic in general.
Right. Actually, a lot of the proposal places are equally, they're great for just a romantic evening. So.
Sure. You've got some options here. One of them that's interesting is taking a private hot air balloon flight.
Yeah,
Have you
I
done
just
that?
recently learned that this was available in Orlando. I haven't done it personally, but I actually gave a gift of a hot air balloon flight to my best friend for her 40th birthday, because it's something she had always wanted to do, and she has raved about what a fantastic experience it was. So I'm hoping to do it myself one of these days soon. But I think that's a pretty cool thing, and you can either do a group ride, and it's a pretty small group. I think they only put 6 or 8 people typically in a balloon. Or you can really shell out the big bucks and do a private one where it's just the two of you and the pilot. So.
Yeah, the private one I see on your site goes for $700 plus tax. Although there's a $30 off balloon wedding package, so that'll definitely cut into that price. But the shared balloon flight is a little bit more affordable. It's $174 per person.
Right.
Sue, do you get a lot of balloon requests?
No, I can't say we do, but now that Mary has this information up here, we'll definitely refer our guests who are looking for a memorable experience, whether they're going to propose or they just want to do it. I think this is so cool. I'm going to make sure all my agents know to tell people about this, and and to try it out themselves, because this is really, you're going on vacation and you want to do some really, once in a lifetime type things, and this is definitely one of them.
Yeah, Mary's site has a bottom-down effect of she puts it on and then people become aware of it, and then that comes to you. So let's move on to having a affordable honeymoon at Disney without breaking the bank.
Yes.
And Mary, of course, has a little bit section on there. Either one of you want to, Sue, Mary, want to talk about that?
Well, one thing I would say is that there actually are romantic options that are not necessarily at the highest price point. So yes, it would be fabulous if you could afford to go and stay at the Grand Floridian, but you could certainly also stay at Port Orleans, which is incredibly romantic as well, at a much lower price point. So there's certainly lots of different options available at Walt Disney World, and price is not necessarily the only indicator of romance.
Sure. And Sue, do you have any other recommendations for romantic accommodations at Walt Disney World? I mean, let's not assume that price isn't a factor necessarily.
Okay. Where I would suggest would be really nice and very romantic and secluded would be in the garden suite at the boardwalk in the back there. Those are duplexes, and some of them have hot tubs in there, and you feel like you're real, and you feel very alone, and when you're back there, it's almost silent. And it's just so beautiful with all the landscaping, and you forget you're in Disney World. And because of the proximity to all the nightlife, you can make the best of it as adults on their own. I'd also suggest for honeymoon goers or just romantic, to if it's within their budget, to do the dining plan, because you're going to be going at a slower pace, and you're going to want to, you can have all these romantic dinners and really get the appetizer, the main course, the dessert, and everything included, and know how much it's going to cost you before you get down there.
Hey, Mike Scopa, have you share with our listeners some secrets that you've used over the years to woo Carol?
Keeping her in the dark, I guess. But I do have a question for Mary regarding weddings. My daughter is getting married, by the way, in March, and I could not convince her to go down there. We're having it up here in God's country, rather than in Walt's country or Mickey's country. What is, for those people who are listening who maybe might be considering having a wedding down there, what kind of price range should they be expecting to pay if they so indeed feel like they'd like to get married and underneath the eyes of Mickey?
Well, there are a couple of different options if you're going to do an official Disney wedding, which is called a fairy tale wedding. They have something called an intimate wedding, which is limited to 20 people, including the bride and groom. You can only have 18 guests plus the bride and groom. And the price for that, for 2007 starts at a little under $3,000. And it's basically a ceremony in a lovely location, and then you have your flowers included and some other little odds and ends, and then you have a cake cutting afterward in lieu of a reception.
That's like
that's
pop century of honeymoons.
well, actually,
good, huh?
Actually, it could, relative to, I don't know if you know, but the national average for wedding costs these days is something in the neighborhood of $25,000. So, relative to that, this is pretty inexpensive. And what a lot of people do is they do this intimate wedding package, and then they have a dinner that's sort of in lieu of a reception. So they'll either book a private room at one of the Disney hotel restaurants, and I do have lists of all these private rooms and information about how to book those, or you can just book, a table within one of the restaurants you like. So that's one of your less expensive options. Now, if you want to go for the big grand wedding, and you're going to have more than 20 people, then you'll go with what they call a custom wedding, and the minimum cost is $10,000 plus 20% service charge plus 6.5% tax. So realistically, you're talking about a minimum of $12,000 for that.
Wow.
That'd be great. You have the reception at Hoop-de-Doo,
People have done that.
I think, from what I've heard, is that for a price, anything at Walt Disney World is possible.
That is the theory. Now, it used to be that they did weddings in Magic Kingdom, and they did a fair number of them, and they were priced, as of about 3 or 4 years ago, in the $52,000 minimum range. Nowadays, they're saying that they really aren't set up to do those. If you want to get married in front of the castle, you'll have to do a buyout of the entire park for $500,000. So for most people, that's not a realistic option. Huh. There are some hints that they may be bringing back the packages within Magic Kingdom for those who want to do that again, maybe in 2007, and the rough estimate I was given was $60,000 as a minimum cost to have your wedding in there.
Wow.
So,
well,
yes, for a price, they'll probably consider doing just about anything. Now, they do have lots of weddings in Epcot, so getting married in a theme park is definitely a possibility. And they do have a lot of receptions, both in Epcot and there's even a reception possibility at Disney MGM Studios. You can have your reception in the Great Movie Ride after hours, and it's quite the thing.
Hey, Mary, do you know if there are any times during the year where the weddings, is there like a blackout series of dates throughout the calendar year where a wedding cannot take place?
Not that I'm aware of. They do charge a premium for weddings during the holidays between Christmas and New Year's, just like everything else at Walt Disney World. That's the busiest week of the year. They charge a premium on weekends. They charge a premium on certain other 3-day weekends during the year. So they'll still do it, but it's more expensive if you want to go at a premium time.
Right.
There's actually, I've got a link on mgmstudios.org of a picture of someone getting married in the great movie ride in the Wizard of Oz scene. So I'll post a link in the show notes.
Oh, I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah. So I remember because when you said that, Mary, it struck a bell with me. Someone had posted that quite a while ago.
Yeah, Sue and I attended an event, a private event in the Great Movie Ride one time. That was not a wedding, but we did kind of get a sense of how it's set up, and it's pretty impressive. It's really dark in there, even when they set up extra lighting. So that's one issue, but it is pretty neat. They charge a minimum of $7,000 as an entertainment fee for having your wedding reception in there, and that's because they bring in live entertainment. They have performers, street-tainment people, and all that. So it's really quite an elaborate event.
Great. Well, for more information on getting married at Walt Disney World, we'll put a link in the show notes to Mary's new pages, and I'm sure there'll be more information coming soon as well, so you'll definitely want to check that out. Mary, thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
And Sue, thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting me.
And Sue is, of course, of Small World Vacations. We'll have a link in the show notes to that, and a link to Mouse Savers in the show notes. And that is it for us today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, Suki Satoro, and Mary Waring, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.